Welcome back. Today is another profound opportunity to meet and connect with Ajahn Supawan Green, here to guide us to find inner peace and discover our own eureka experiences and much more. So, Sawadee Ajahn.
Thank you for joining.
It's
so nice to see you again, Rosalind. Thank you.
Thank you. For those who are unsure, the name Ajahn is the honorific term in Thai language for teacher, or in Japanese, you say sensei. So that said, Ajahn Supawan is a prolific author of dozens of books about spirituality, leveling up and escalating, and inspiring the Bring Your Mental Self Back Home Foundation as well. Today, we're going to talk about something very important. Ajahn Supawan every month teaches a meditation retreat in King's Bromley in the UK. Now, every second Saturday of each month at Wat Mahathat, she holds a meditation retreat for many people at King's Bromley. So those of you who are interested, please join online. Meanwhile, Ajahn, at your retreat, you've talked about a very important and profound topic of separating your mind and the Jerrys as a host mind and visitors. Can you elaborate on how that concept can help us eradicate Jerrys?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for your questions. Yeah, this is a very good topic that we need to talk about, really, because the state of the host mind is what the Buddha have told us, 2.5 millennia ago. I heard in Thai, this Dharma topic for a long time since I was a student, Jit Prapasan, but I did not quite understand until I had my own experience. And now I can talk about it, more systematic way. Yeah. So talking about the host mind, this is something that connects with every single human on earth. So let's go back to the point of the enlightenment of the Buddha on that night. By at Gaya under the Bodhi tree. Let me use these 5 fingers to represent the 5 components of our body, of this life form. So we got the physical self, right? And then we got the mental self, which I represent with this. Our mental self is the part that we cannot see in the mirror. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, we see only our physical self, right? So we got this physical self and the mental self, right? And then in between, we still got Jerry. You remember? So I represent Jerry with dark Jerry. And then we got the pink Jerry, not quite pink, it's red, it's okay. And then we also got the white Jerry. We also got the clear Jerry. So 4 types of Jerry, I think I talked about it last time. Yeah. Okay. So this Jerry represent with these 3 fingers. So Jerry represents your thoughts, your memories, your feelings. So what happened in this life form is that Jerry normally take an inner self, a mental self, a true self over. Take it over. Okay. And then this is the beginning of the problem. You see, so when Jerry take a mental self, a true self over, create a state of the matrix illusion. And then we, our real self, live in the world of fake news, illusion, matrix, whatever you want to call. Okay, so once you understand this, you will appreciate the enlightenment of the Buddha. So what happened on that night is that he reached the state that we call lut. Lut is mean disconnect, pon is go beyond. Disconnect and go beyond. So there is a split between Tom and Jerry, between a mental self and Jerry. So what happened on that night, once that split, that is what you call, this experience is called enlightenment, awakening, fully awakening. Okay, because of this elusive world, you have been disconnect and go beyond. Only then the Buddha said, oh my God, wow, I'm awake now. Awakening, that is the name of Buddha. Buddha means awakening. I'm awakening. I wake up now. Eureka, I know it. So what did he know? The experience that he knew is about the state of the host mind. You got to bear in mind that I don't talk about Buddhism. Nothing to do with an ism, okay? This is the universal knowledge. It means that what the Buddha found out is that every single human being have a state of a host mind all the same. All the same. So to help you to understand, I normally would start with something like this. I will hold some picture up and let people spot. So Roslyn, what is the most obvious that you can see in this picture? Straight away, you don't have to think at all. Yeah,
a hand and a pendulum.
Yeah, the hand, yeah, all this line. Okay, this is what you can see straight away. Okay,
Yes.
and then sound as well. I'm not in your environment, but when I stop talking, what is the most obvious sound that you can hear in your room, your cozy room right now? I will stop talking now.
My fan from my computer.
Your fan. Okay, as for me, I could hear my, the fan of my computer. Okay, yeah. And then when you look around in your room, what is the most obvious thing that you can see? In fact, so many things, right? Especially you're in your beautiful cozy room. Mine as well. Okay, and then so this is how I lead people to understand the state of their host mind. And then after you see this one, initially you spot your hand, you spot the pendulum, right?
Pendulum.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to look at this picture again. What is it that you miss seeing at first glance? The very first glance, you see this, you see this, you see this, you see this. But in fact, there is another thing that is so obvious, but most people miss seeing. What is it?
The white background.
Bingo. Okay, that is very good. Not everyone can answer this. You see straight away, they can't. Especially if I bring up, something like this, or at the picture, they try to think of, oh, what is it that I'm missing? Is it that spot or this spot? Okay, but this one is quite clear. The most obvious part of this piece of paper is the white part. It's most obvious, but we're missing.
Yes.
So it's the sound. You can hear the bird chirping, the fan from the computer, and this and that. But what sound is it that you miss hearing? It's quite
quiet.
The sound of silence, right? Yeah.
Yes.
The sound of silence. And in the room as well, we see this and we see that, you see my cuckoo clock, you see all these things. But what is it that we miss seeing, miss spotting right in front of us? Enclosed, you have 360 degree surrounding us. What is it that you're missing? The
space.
Exactly. The space. The space. You see, these are the three examples that is quite tangible, that is quite visibly that we can connect with. So what I like people to understand is that there are two states here. There is the state of a host and the state of a guest. Without understand this part, it's very difficult for people to understand, because we are dealing with something that is within the enclosure of this physical body that we cannot see in the mirror. Okay, this is the reason why I got to use analogies. I got to use all these props, trying to help you to understand and then connect with it. Okay, so always remember that as above, that so below, as within, so without. So this is about trying to understand all the things that going on within, so that we can understand out here. So what I like to show you is that there are two states of mind. There is a state of a host. The host is always there, like the blank space here, the white space, right? It's always there, it's permanent. These are the guests. The guests come and the guests go. We can erase all this, right? Sound is the guest. can make so many different sounds. Sound is the guest. Silence is the host. Silence is always in the background, always there is the host. But sounds come and go, right? Is the guest. Guests come, guests go, right? The space in front of us as well is the host. Whereas all these furniture, you know, you can take them out and throw them away. You can ship and change, but the space stay. Can you understand now? Okay.
Yes.
You follow me so far? Okay. So we got the host and then the guest. Let's see. So what happened is that originally, every single human being, they all have a state of a host mind, which I call mental space. Remember when we do meditation and then kick Jerry out so that we can reach that mental space? That's it. That mental space is the state of the host mind that every single human being has them all the same, regardless of any belief system that you have. It doesn't matter who you are, what kind of religion, belief that you have. It doesn't matter at all. That person, everyone, every single human being, including, if you want to include the ET, you can do that as well. Okay, extraterrestrial.
Yes.
They also got the host mind, all the same. So this is the set of the host mind. And then Jerry come in as the visitors. Jerry come in as a visitor. So a guests come and guests go, remember? Guests come and guests go. Okay. Sorry, I got to show you with the Thai writing.
The left-hand side is the body with the yellow shirt, just the shell, the outer body, and the right side with the red shirt is the mental self.
Yes, that's correct. So the physical self and then the mental self, and then the words, the Thai word in between say host mind, or Jai Prapasan. Okay. So the host mind is the state of mind that every single human on earth has it all the same. And then the Jerry is only the guest. Jerry is only the guest, and guests come and guests go. Okay. Jerry is the part that creates this state of diversity. Jerry is the part that creates individuality. It's still important. It's still important.
Yes.
You know, create Rosalind, which is different from Supuan Green. Okay. It is Jerry, our thoughts and feelings that creates the state of individuality, create diversity, create the differentiation. Okay. But once you take Jerry away, this diversity, this individuality, this differentiation can also, okay, cause problems. So what the Buddha found out on that night of the enlightenment is that he cracked this. He said that, wow, originally everyone all have the state of a host mind all the same. And this state of the host mind, or your mental space, is always in the background, just like the space that encloses, 360 degrees. Whereas all this furniture is only the guests that come and go. And this is what the Buddha found out on that night of the enlightenment, which is so awesome. And then he knew straight away, let me see, Jerry act as a mental guest. And because we got this type of Jerry, I put this picture here, this thinking Sinkara Jerry. Sinkara Jerry is very much like a builder. It's the architect, the builder, the engineer, all in one. It's the producer, it's the director and the actor, and then he can make a film within your head and your heart.
Yes.
It means that this Sinkara Jerry can go mobilize a whole army of Jerry and then create elusive world and take you over. So, and then drag you into this matrix world, this elusive world, and then let you live in there. So you live in your mental holiday. This is the Star Trek terminology. So this is the enlightenment of the Buddha, because he found out on that night, we all have all this Jerry, and because of this Sinkara Jerry that go and mobilize all the a whole army of Jerry and then take us over. And then we are doomed in there if we are trapped in this black Jerry. Okay, so black Jerry is our mental guest. Let's see what I have here. Space give freedom. Yeah. Hang on, let me see. Yeah, have a look.
Wow.
Can you see that? So Jerry, this Sinkara Jerry, this Master Chef Jerry, go and mobilize a whole army of Jerry and then take us over and then cause us become a state like this. Stress, worry, anxiety,
Stress,
depression,
anxiety,
breakdown, suicide,
depression.
all these things. It's
Oh,
all
gosh.
Jerry talking. I'm sure we all have enough of this experience, don't we? Yeah.
Yes.
We are so familiar with this kind of mess up in the head. Okay, so
Especially around this time.
yeah, definitely. Can you see that through this picture? You can see that the more mental furniture that we have, the less mental space we can see. Can you see that?
Yes,
Yeah?
so much clutter.
So much clutter, exactly. That's a good word. Clutter is our mind, our heart is all being cluttered by Jerry every day from the moment we get up. Okay, so this is what the Buddha have found out on that night of his enlightenment, which is so
It's enlightening, so
enlightening.
liberating.
It's just so great. You know, this piece of knowledge is just so great. Until the Buddha said that, oh, no, I can't sit still. I must tell people about it. In the same way that physical space gives us the physical freedom to roam about. Yeah. See, when we walk into the room, of course, we walk into the space, right? Space, physical space, give us the freedom. Can you see? If my hand, you know, I float into the space, but if there is something in between, I knock, right? If you have the furniture, it means that if you clutter your room with furniture, the less physical space that you have, and then your physical body will be squeezed by all those furniture surrounding you, okay? Because less space you can do. Likewise, our mental space is the place that gives us our mental freedom, our mental and spiritual freedom, really, to live in peace. When people say that, you know, give me some peace and quiet, it means that you are asking for your mental space by thinking that if that person leave me alone, just leave, just go away. And then if I can have all this physical space for me, it will give me my mental space. This is all connected. But deep down, you want that mental space. You want that host mind back, basically. With physical space, we can still understand. You can just declutter your house, throw away, and then, oh, okay, I got my space back, and then make you feel better. But with mental clutters, your mental furniture, can you see? You can't see, can you? You can't see it in the mirror. So therefore, people cannot understand, even though this is exactly the body of knowledge that the Buddha had found out on the night of his enlightenment, and he told us about it. You know, we did vipassana, mental space, all this, but we couldn't understand. Yeah, so that's why I got to find a way to help people to understand this. So the Buddha said that, oh no, I can't sit still. I got to tell people about this fantastic news, this magnificent news, this awesome news, you know, and it's really for humanity. So what the Buddha tried to help us is try to help us to declutter our mental furniture, purge all this mental furniture. And the mental furniture is what? Is Jerry. So once your mental guest left, or you have disposed of your mental furniture, your host mind will return. The host mind, in fact, it hasn't gone anywhere, but because of too much clutter, and then you cannot see your mental space. Like, it's just like your room is too much clutter, you can't see any space, but the space hasn't disappeared. The space hasn't gone anywhere. The space is always there. What you need to do is just declutter your room, take away your furniture, and then the space has always been there, always have, and always will. And this is, so the host mind is the peaceful, the tranquil, quiet, still, state of mind. Okay, so this is the basic concept that I think is really so important that humanity need to know. Not just the Buddhists, everyone must know. And this is the source of how we can resolve every problem later on. So once the Buddha have this state of the host mind, you see, he endorsed for us, no happiness is greater than inner peace. So that inner peace is a mental space or the host mind. Nirvana is the best kind of happiness. So that host mind is the state of nirvana. See, hence nirvana is inner peace, is the host mind, is the best kind of happiness. Basically, what we need to do is just unclutter, declutter our mental furniture.
And how we do that is just to go back to the foundation that we had earlier on the steps to meditation by breaking apart sensation, movement, and also silence and peace.
Yeah. So we have to go back to the same picture that I have shown you.
Yeah.
So what happened is that position A is very much like we have all the mental furniture, whereas position B is the state of the host mind or your mental space, which got all these features there. But this is the one that, drive you up the wall, drive you crazy. So
the bottle, imagine the bottle shaking.
That's it. I lost my bottle. I don't know where I put it. I have guests yesterday, so I have to tidy up the house. So many clutters. My office is here. It's this room work, everything. My office, the dining room, the guest room, whatever. So anyway, so once the Buddha found out the state of the host mind, okay, he gave us this tool, and that tool is vipassana. That tool is mindfulness meditation, which has 4 foundations of mindfulness, which I call bring a mental self back home. See, back home to a mental space, back home to a host mind. The host mind that every single human on earth have them all the same. I think this piece of information is just so important that I hope in the future, more people know about this. Not just the Buddhists, no. You see,
any religion, any culture, any person, any human.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I even cover to ET as well. They all have the host mind all the same as well. Okay.
Any living being with
any
consciousness.
Living being. Exactly. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Any living being, any is being. I don't know.
Any human or non-human.
Yeah, humanoid, non-humanoid. But the trouble is that whether they know it or not, this is the big question. You see, we live in a Buddhist country like Thailand. The majority of Thai population, 95% Thai population are Buddhists, are born Buddhists. But it's Buddhist by rubber stamp, I call it. They claim themselves Buddhist, but when you really ask them about all these things, they don't know. They don't know, which is sad. I find it quite sad.
Buddhist in practice and ritual.
Yeah, they kind of go along with the tradition, with the traditional side, the culture, doing the merit, tambun, and all these things. And a lot of them like to think that when they do the tambun, do the merit, is it's a means to secure that place in heaven, right? Secure that place in heaven, which we give some people a tool to make advantage on this belief by selling a ticket to heaven, that kind of
everyone looking for shortcuts.
That's it. Yeah. And it's sadly that Thai people, really rooted in this belief as well, to secure a place in heaven. So when they come to making merit, I mean, a lot of them, they're so generous, really generous, they just give away, because what they really want is to make sure that they can go to heaven, not go to hell. But in fact, heaven is still King Jerry. Heaven is still nothing more than King Jerry. That it's subject to change as well. And whether it's real or not, I don't know, because I have no memory of my previous life in heaven or in hell, you know, all these things. I don't know. I won't talk about it. But what I want to emphasize is that mental space, to know your mental space, to know your host mind, or to know nirvana, to be able to have nirvana as your refuge. This knowledge is much more wonderful, much more awesome, you know, than going to heaven. Because according to Buddha, if you go to heaven, you know, heaven is still got the lifespan, still have the lifespan. Once you finish with that lifespan, you can come back to earth again. And then you go through, you go through all your mental pain again. And then you're back to square one again. Even though you're born rich, it doesn't guarantee that you can be totally happy. Okay. So what I try to let people know is that once you know the state of the host mind, you kind of have a glimpse of nirvana, and then you can also take nirvana as your own refuge, And this is much more important. This is much more important than about going to heaven. Because once you can have nirvana as your refuge, you can live with any kind of problem, any kind of crisis staring you into your face. And then you know how to deal with it. You know how to resolve all your problem by kicking Jerry out of your house, or kicking your guest, disperse your guest, kick the guest or your Jerry, you know, out by means of bring your mental self back home, so that you can claim your mental space back once again. And I think this is much more important than just going to heaven. This level of knowledge, it's a shame that not many Buddhists know about it. So I want to make it very clear to you. Is that all right then, Roslyn?
Definitely, that's very crystal clear, Ka-chan. The host mind and the visitors, and us kind of working on ourselves to heal ourselves through eradicating, cleaning up the clutter in that host mind, in that permanent space that we all have, regardless of culture, religion, just any kind of being with consciousness. We're working on that kind of healing and cleaning up and organizing. And so that is also what we're doing in bringing your mental self back home. Thank you very much for that explanation. And
can I just add one more example, analogy that I completely forgot? I normally, you know, bring this one up. This comparison is very much like, suppose if you are a host, you want to throw a party, and then you have 100 guests, you know, come to your house. The deal is that midnight, party end, all the guests are supposed to leave your house, right? Because your house is your own territory. But if midnight come, and then your guests decide to say that, oh, Roslyn, you're so kind, you're so good, your house is beautiful, your food is fantastic, I love to stay, please let me stay. You know, if just one or two guests say that, what would happen to you? Of course, your Jerry would say, no. Because your house is your territory. You have the freedom to roam about, you know, in your house whichever way that you want to. Likewise, this is a mental self, the host for this house, a mental home. We are the host, and then we have the freedom to live in peace. But if you have just one or two guests, you know, come in and refuse to leave you, like the party end, and then someone wants to stay in your house, of course you said no, because you don't want anyone to live in your house, because your house is yours, your territory. Likewise, this host mind belongs to our mental self. We are the owner of this space. So this is the guest, the unwanted guest that we got to, you know, kick out. So anyway, this is another example that I always tell my student about it, just to let you appreciate the state of the host mind that everyone has all the same. Is that all right?
Very good. The analogy makes things more clear and easier to visualize.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Ka-chan. We'll talk more about normalcy, normality in the next video. For now, สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ